The prettiest girl at the party. I walk up to her, we dance, talk for hours. I love everything she said. Somehow after we ended up in the bed, 9 months later, out popped the head. I ended up marrying her, and it happened fast, but that's all right. You see, I was never the type to believe in love at first sight, but words can express what I felt that night. And I still feel that way. I love her and my little girl. Hope to even have a boy someday, but money's a little tight, so that's gonna have to wait. Until last week, my daughter asked me, Daddy, why don't I look like you? I said, you look more like your mom, that's fine. She goes, yeah, but you and I don't look alike. And that made me curious, I ain't gonna lie. So later down the line, I took the test to find she wasn't mine. I go to my wife, I say, are you out your mind? You told her she was mine when you knew you were lying, so who's this she then? Actually, I don't even want to know. Daughter comes running in, Daddy, Daddy, what's wrong? I said, go to your room. She says, Daddy, Daddy. I said, baby, move. She says, Daddy. I said, I'm not your daddy. Her face confused. The mom goes, baby, go to your room. Why would you tell her that? I said, why wouldn't you? She said, okay, I'm sorry for not telling you. When we met, I was about a month pregnant. I made a mistake, it's true, but it turned out you were an amazing dude. So no, you're not her daddy because you helped create her bloom, but you are her daddy because you raised her too. I stepped back. She stepped forward. I said, step back. You mean to tell me this whole time I was a stepdad? Not that anything's wrong with being a stepdad, but I'm sure you would get mad if you didn't expect that. She said, I'm sorry. I said, yeah, well, I'm sorry too. She said, what's that supposed to mean? I said, oh, we going to Maury, boo. I want the world to see how such a charming dude could get hurt by someone as harmful as you. I don't mind staying in her life as just a dad, but I'm divorcing your deceptive ass. Because it's just the fact that what else did you lie about? Like, this is a mess. It's bad. Actually, baby, come back in the room. Now tell her who's her dad. She said, sweetheart, your father's name is Chad. Finally hearing it, I wanted to smack. Ooh, I'm so glad I was raised better than that. But I still feel like I needed to attack, punch the hole in the wall. They both react. Ring, 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 ring. Her phone says, Chad. I picked up so fast. Hello? He hangs up. Will I call back? Hello? He hangs up. Will I call back? Hello? He says, yo, my bad. I must have had the wrong number. I got so mad. I said, so y'all both just liars? Like, that's so sad. I already know about you, Chad. You can have her, but you can't have my little girl. To me, she means the entire world. He said, now, hold on, dude. That's my daughter, too. And there's plenty of things that I taught her, too. I said, wait, you sound familiar. Where you from? The mom interrupts. Okay, that's enough. I said, no, you let him talk. He said, then her phone dies. I can't make this up. But I was invested. I was all in. I said, nah, give me his number. I'm going to call him. She said, you really think this is a good time for all this? You don't see your daughter in the corner bawling? I said, but I just got to know. She said, yes, but what's that going to do? Before you knew anything, everything was perfect, right? You're always looking just to find and ruin something that's just fine. I said, are you really trying to justify that you just be lying? This toxic witch was trying to botch and twist my thoughts with this, but it was working. What she said made lots of sense. If I never hopped the fence and tried to get the info that she was not my kid, I never would have been in a spot this sick. Is it better to not know if someone's playing me? Y'all know how that song go. I thought it was silly at first, but it's not, though. What he meant was, well, as long as she's not publicly embarrassing me, why should it matter to me what she's doing behind those closed doors casually? I mean, if she's married to me, wait, am I really believing this baby there? Like, am I really thinking this baby there? I feel so weak. Babe! Then I wake up from the dream I'm in. I say, yo, who is Chad? She laughed and asked, yeah, who is that? I was glad. I rubbed her round, stomach in a swirl. I said, I don't know, I just can't wait to have our little girl. Then her phone goes ring. I look at it like, that's Chad, jokingly, but it was, and I said, I thought you didn't know that name. I go insane. She said, wait, I said, let go of me. She said, but I can't, explain. To be continued. Thank y'all.